Everyone, welcome to my kitchen. My name is Kimberly Knox, and you are in the kitchen with KK. So I hope you really loved the orange ginger tahini dressing. That was the last recipe that I created here for you, along with some useful information. And that's what I'm all about as an integrative and functional health coach, getting to the root cause of disease. We've learned that food, diet, and lifestyle make up about 90% of all disease-related problems that we have out there today. We have a broken system that we're working with, and we need to take back the control of our health. And it starts right in the kitchen, as Dr. Mark Hyman says. This is where we're going to fix our broken healthcare system. And we have so much power that once you start changing your food, you'll feel the cellular difference, which shows in your face, your eyes, your energy levels. I've seen it with all of my clients, and that's what turned me around now over 10 years ago, maybe 12 years ago it was. So my inspiration is pure. I want you to have mindfulness around your food selections, enjoy making a few simple recipes in the kitchen, have a lot of confidence. You see me strip out and change up recipes, and you can do that. I'm going to give you the power. But today we're talking about asparagus, which is the #1 spring vegetable out there. And this goes back 2,500 years. So yes, AD, we're talking about this has been used medicinally. So it does mean in Greece, and in Greek terms, it means stalk. It grows every year as a stalk. So this is like a mini tree. So similar to the energy profile that you're going to get in microgreens, and you know about the, I know that I've talked about the nutrient profile of microgreens, the sulforaphane, the B vitamins, the very powerful. It's the energy also, because if you think about spring, we're coming out of winter eating where there's not a lot of food, things are not growing, we're cooking things slow, we're sleeping more, long, slow cooked stews. And now we're springing into health. It shifts into liver and gallbladder season. So now we are nurturing the liver and all the work that it does. So we need as much help with our detoxification process. This has long been anti-inflammatory and loaded with antioxidants that help with, as a natural diuretic, flush out toxins from the body. All right, along with parsley and dandelion, this is a very powerful natural diuretic. I'm going to infuse this video with stuff, but what we're going to do is I'm going to show you different ways to enjoy it. Now, if you Google recipes on asparagus on the internet, unfortunately, you're going to get a ton of unhealthy recipes because they're loaded with inflammation, with either seed oils added or lots of cheese, so you're not gaining the powerful benefits that asparagus has, with over 70% of your vitamin K per day, daily value in just one serving of asparagus. And that goes along with the other greens as well. So what we're going to make is a really quick soup. Soup you can make in 5 minutes, loaded and no dairy added to it, just a little bit of olive oil, and you can make it right in a blender. We're going to show you that, and other similar ways. Now, I talk about my cookbook, and down below in the information, you can see where you can get it as an ebook, but I self-published this, so it's available on my website. However, I use asparagus tips a lot, especially in my vegan meals. I'm trying to get as many veggies with my vegetarian clients, veggies and beans, stuffed quinoa, stuffed acorn squash quinoa. You can have meat or not. I've done it with bison. I've done it with turkey. This is a chopped kale quinoa salad with asparagus tips. Asparagus are highly alkaline, just like quinoa is an alkaline seed. It's not a grain, but it's a great alternative when you're gluten-free and you want that protein, but we're also trying to keep our body alkaline. And when we do, disease cannot thrive. So anyone with urinary tract infections, kidney stones, any forms of cancer, you want asparagus. Asparagus is going to be your friend. Edema. So we'll go more into that. Other ways that I have utilized it in recipes, my cauliflower rice risotto with shiitake mushrooms and asparagus tips. That might actually be in my library of recipes. I make a many Mediterranean style. I have a Tuscan white bean skillet. I can do that with grilled chicken or without, but I'll put in the asparagus tips at the end. You don't overcook them. That's why it's a lot of layering, and they're just beautiful. When they're bright green, you know they're ready. Similar to broccoli in a way. And what's another way that I use them? Definitely in more a vegan, vegetarian type salads with beans, like a chickpea, quinoa, tomato, asparagus tips. You can get creative, but they're fantastic. So hopefully today, after the video, you're going to have much more mindfulness around why you want to infuse your body with more asparagus. And don't worry about the smell of your urine. That is just like, okay, that's like it's really helping your body, and it does help the whole urinary. If you get a lot of urinary tract infections, this is one of the things you want, along with raw garlic. I'm gonna grab my apron. Super cute leftover from Valentine's Day here. Little cherry hearts. So I have a half sheet, and the oven is on 400. You can roast your asparagus, and these are fine. So about 8 minutes is going to be enough. If they're bigger, you'd want to go about 10 minutes. So you just line a half sheet. You're going to line your half sheet here with some parchment paper. And so most of the organic stores are going to have hippie organics for the asparagus. And you want a nice firm head here. And the finer they are, you know, they're younger, they're more tender, they've got more energy. Bioenergetics, the cooking method that I created, talks about the energy inherent in food. Organic food already has more energy, which you can see with the photon light, but younger stocks like this, similar to microgreens, is going to have even more energy, which we can take on. This is the quantum physics, guys, stuff you can't see. So you know about just snapping these, right? Now, when we're just going to take a small amount, because I'm going to put the rest to work in another way. So let's say you're just going to take the bottoms off. Yep, that's hard. And so we're just going to click them here. Now, and I am going to show you a way that I use some of the lower parts. Now, if you're doing a wild sockeye salmon, maybe pan-searing it or baking it, you're going to have a meal in 15 minutes, no problem. So let's just line these up. Now I have a neutral high heat oil here. You do not want to use olive oil when you're roasting. That is a misnomer on every recipe. It will oxidize it. And don't waste your high quality olive oil on that process. You want to keep it for your dressings and other. So I just keep, because I'm cooking a lot, I always have this out to grease my pans and stuff. I do not use any sprays, no aerosols. You can get away from that just by having this little brush handy here. Now, if you want a little seasoning on this, some people just like a little sea salt. If you want pepper, one of my favorite is lemon pepper. So I'm going to put a little lemon pepper on here. That lemon pepper is perfect for asparagus. I also like a little garlic powder, not garlic salt, because that actually has salt in it. You don't need more salt. So I'm keeping off the salt. Ready to go. This is going to be ready in 8 minutes. We're going to get this in. All right, that is set. Number 2, so I have up this food processor. When I'm prepping lots of meals and I'm just using the tips, I had a client that only liked the tips of asparagus, so I had the whole stock to utilize. And I'm going to show you a way to get it raw because you want to be able to get raw vegetables as well. And when they're broken down in a food processor, they're very easy to enjoy and to eat. You can add them to the top of a salad. So let me just get out my knife here. So let's say we were just using the tops. So here's the tips. And let's say you're making a salad, like a spinach arugula asparagus tip strawberry salad with a buckwheat honey balsamic. Fantastic. That would be a perfect ideal. So we're going to keep those for the soup. And now, obviously, asparagus is going to grow. If they keep growing, it's so tough because it grows into a tree. They're no longer tender. And that's why the bottoms, like right here, this is really tough. And that's why you crack them so you can get to where you need to. But I'm just gonna cut them off right about here because we know that that's where they're cracking. We'll toss the rest away. Now, if I was making my Tuscan white bean skillet, all I would do is take out the tips, which I'll add in to the recipe at the end and let them get nice and green so they're crisp. But toward the process of cooking, I'm going to cut the stems into small pieces. And then even people that, kids, maybe if they don't really think they like asparagus, well, you can get asparagus into their meal by cutting it up small and sauteing it with the other veggies. So that's one option there. I'm going to show you that I take the stems and I like to actually just blend them up in the food processor, almost like you're making cauliflower rice or broccoli. And I'm going to show you both of those there. So let's take this off. The food processor is going to do the work, so I don't have to make these all real small. But I love to eat the asparagus like this. And I'll show you how, just with a little bit of sea salt, garlic. I might put it over some greens. In minutes, you've got asparagus rice ready to go. That's all there. So we have this here. I'm going to add this to, let me just get a bigger bowl here. Bigger prep bowl. Make sure you get these prep bowls because they're so useful. These little mini spatulas always come in handy as well. And it's nice to have the tools that you need. That's why I love this big center island here with the big thing that pulls out. All of my tools are right there handy. So now I have a large amount of asparagus. So if you are having any problems with your kidneys or your bladder, or, this is highly medicinal here and natural diuretic as well. As it starts to get humid here in Florida, our bodies are starting to work to get rid of the fluid, which means we're putting pressure on our kidneys and our spleen to balance the fluid. So besides hot yoga, we want to make sure we have natural diuretics such as parsley and dandelion green and asparagus. You will notice the difference. So now we just have something that you can just season. But what makes it even better is you can add a little bit of red onion to that. I also have some broccoli stems, and I'm going to show you that since we're already on this. And then we'll make the soup because that cooks in about no time. And we will be done in the 4 minutes that this is done. So this is the bottom of a broccoli top. I'm prepping all the time. So when I'm cutting up a huge head of broccoli, the broccoli florets that I'm going to steam and then saute maybe in a little bit of garlic and olive oil, or add into a vegetable curry or a vegetable stir fry or any of the things that I'm making. The top part here where it connects, the outer part is still going to be soft enough that you can just put it right into the food processor. But the stalk itself, this starts to get really tough. But inside, this is where you're going to have very strong, the active compound of those phytonutrients, those glucosinolates, is sulforaphane. And it is really strong in the stalk. So if you just cut off the outside, You can either have a little tasty snack. This part right here is super tender and delicious. So when you're meal prepping, you could actually eat it or give it to your children if they're working. And the inside is delicious. Throw away the outside. I'm just going to put the cover on here, and we're going to create some cauliflower and broccoli rice. Add it to this, and now you have something that you can eat by itself, or just put over some greens, and you have the powerful nutrient compounds of two cruciferous vegetables, which are cauliflower and broccoli, anti-tumor, anti-cancer, supportive of the liver and all of its processes. This is beautiful. I'm going to add this to the mix. And then now I have something prepped for myself to add to salads or to eat like it is. I like adding a red cabbage to this and some red onions. Beautiful. Now we're talking about the liver. One more thing and one more reason to love asparagus. Number one, for helping the body make glutathione, not just by its precursors, which are cysteine, N-acetylcysteine, NAC. They even sell that as a supplement today. Garlic has cysteine. It helps with the building of glutathione in the body. This is good amounts of folate, which we need as a precursor to building glutathione in the body, but it also directly delivers it, which is the body's master antioxidant, which is we need this more than ever today because of the huge amounts of cellular damage from free radicals in the body. That oxidative stress that we're under today is like no other time in history because of toxins, because of EMFs and other things. So that is your friend, and that is why it is so powerful. We're going to take out already sizzling, already done. So look how fantastic this is and super quick. It wasn't even 8 minutes. So we have that ready to go, and it's already seasoned. So if you're pan searing a little bit of fish, or you're going to bake some salmon, you know it takes no time to make that. Or you're pan searing some scallops. Scallops are actually a low mercury option as well. So we'll be right back. I'm going to now get out the blender. We're going to make the soup, and we're done. And I hope you're getting inspired by asparagus. So the only thing you need is a small saucepan and either an immersion blender, which I have, but I'm going to use the blender here. This is the NutriBullet one where it's got the soup attachment on top. So we'll be using that. You let steam out of it. So a regular blender will work as well. Let's just get this asparagus prepped. So I just kind of snap a few and see where they're snapping. And then I'm just going to cut along that area. Now, you could actually juice. You could save these bottoms and juice them if you have a juicer. That is very, very cool as well. And since we're cooking these and we're going to put them in a blender, they don't have to be chopped up that small, but I'm just going to kind of give them 3 chops here, get them into the pan. So you want about 4.5 to 5 cups. Let's just say 2 bunches of asparagus at the store. So the organic asparagus is around $6, and fantastic. Now we're going to want a cup of filtered water because we are going to bring this to a boil. We're going to add in between 2 and 4 garlic cloves. You know, I like my garlic. And because it's going in here, it's going to get a little bit softer. But we're only going to be bringing it to a boil and cooking it for about 4 minutes. If you only have a sweet onion, that's fine. A yellow onion or a white onion. They'll all work in this recipe here. And I'm just going to cut them up a little bit. They don't have to be super fine because, like I said, we are using the blender. So make sure you have your board scraper if you haven't already got them. This keeps everything nice and neat for you, and it's perfect. So we're going to get the onion in there. I'm going to put the asparagus on top. The water doesn't have to go over the asparagus. The steam is going to, especially since this is very fine, thin asparagus, and it takes a lot less time. I like the more tender asparagus. We're going to put the seasoning in after. We're going to add a quarter cup of the, these are the almonds, the julienne type almonds without the skin. So we don't have to worry about that. Now, if you've been watching me for a while, I'm going to put a quarter cup in with that to get them softer. Then I'm going to put another quarter cup in before we mix them up. It gives it a little bit of texture and it keeps it alkaline because almonds are an alkaline nut. I think it's one of the only ones. If I'm trying to think of another one that might be off the top of my head, I know this one is one of the only ones. So very good. No oil is added yet. We're going to put this on the stove. It's already heating up. We're going to bring it to a boil and let it cook for 3 minutes, take it off, make the soup, and we're done. So did I miss anything? Number one, adrenal support. Most of us have tanked adrenals because we're stressed, we're running on cortisol, we're running on caffeine way too often. I do have caffeine about twice a week. I do the Danger coffee one day, and I'll go to my favorite cafe and have a really amazing espresso. So that's the way I get it. I don't drink any other caffeine. You don't want to be stressing your adrenals for energy. You will wipe them out. So eating late at night, working too hard, staying up too late, all affect the adrenals. This is really supportive of the body. It's also very alkaline. We know that. We need to keep our body in an alkaline state to make an environment that doesn't attract and allow disease to thrive, right? So that is one of the biggest things. That's why I started doing the green smoothie over 15 years ago now, because a doctor had told me an environment of alkalinity is where you want to be. And it did change my life in about 3 days. You're going to love the diuretic effect. We already talked about that. Fiber. The reason that that recipe is in the colon section of my cookbook is because it nourishes the colon in 2 different ways, with soluble and inulin insoluble fiber. That inulin feeds that good microbiome. Now, once you start changing your food, you change your gut microbiome, getting rid of the processed food, the too much sugar, and all of that. You're going to change that microbiome, getting more good bacteria. That good bacteria needs to be fed. That's what fiber is. But before, you need to get it fixed first, and then your gut starts working well. It's a little bit of a process. And I also talk about that in section 3 of my book, which is about the small intestine. Okay. Let's see what else. Yeah, so the Emperor Augustus loved asparagus. Now, he was an emperor 27 BC to AD. So this is a long time ago. This has been used medicinally for a long time, and people still got edema, swelling, and other properties years ago. So it's nothing new, but this has been used medicinally. It is spring season. We need to help our livers do their job. And asparagus is really helpful and supportive in that way, much like dandelion greens that help to support the liver enzymes, support your pancreas, and that whole process of turning fat-soluble toxins, which love the brain, into water-soluble and getting them out of the body. So natural diuretics help flush out of the body, as well as, keeping your lymphatic system stimulated. So many reasons to love your asparagus. Thanks for being here today and joining in. And we're going to come back and make that soup. And then you're going to stay tuned for the next video that'll be coming. Is going to be a better way to enjoy blonde brownies with macadamia nuts, right? Oh my God. Those can be deadly, but these are amazing. 3 minutes and it's done. So we don't want to overdo it. We're going to put the water in here from this. Making sure I turned off the stove. Okay, fantastic. So not to spill it all over the place. Use a long spatula here and then guide it in. Okay, so the garlic and the onions have been softened. We didn't overcook this. 3 minutes boiling, that's it. But I will tell you, you're going to always kill off some of the raw nutrients when you heat it up. Okay, then some of them, it's going to be preserved, but you definitely want to mix in. This is another 1/4 cup of the nuts. You want to mix in raw with cooked. Once you get your gut better, you're going to do better with all sorts of, different food, but you're not going to want to mix different ones in the beginning. I'm just adding about a tablespoon. And a lot of times the fat soluble vitamins are easier to absorb and has a little bit of fat that we're putting in the olive oil. You don't even need it. And now we're going to add in a 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt. You can always put more salt in, you can't take it out. So stay with a little, and then if you want to add a little bit more, you can. The poultry seasoning is going to have thyme, it's going to have sage, and what else? And onion. So this is a 1/2 teaspoon of organic poultry seasoning. You can even put a little rosemary in there if you choose to. You can always get creative with your spices. This is a good mix. So let's get the top on and get this blended. Let's test it. Let's see if we need to add a little bit more filtered water. Just have my pitcher handy. And let's give this a check here. Let out some of the steam. I am going to add a little bit more. And based on how thick you want it, I kind of like my asparagus soup thick, not too thin. All right, so we just mix it up a little bit more. And we're done. You got a most amazing, nutrient-dense, delicious, simple soup that's loaded with nutrients. No matter what you have, this is going to help you. Here's a bowl that I like to put this soup in. This is a fun one. So let's get some of it in here, nice and warm still. Yeah, this is a good consistency. Save the rest. Now for toppings. I love adding red onions, and this is going to give it a gorgeous look as well. The visual appeal will be fantastic. You're going to have some crunch with this. You're adding a ton of antioxidant polyphenols with that red onion. The red onion is going to have more. It's going to have the same amount of the sulfur properties. Look how gorgeous this is. Super simple. You made many different things with asparagus. You have a new understanding and maybe a respect and reverence for why you should eat more. Fantastic. Thanks for joining me today. Stay tuned to my next video, which is going to be a better butterscotch brownie with macadamia nuts. We need alternatives for that. Look how gorgeous this plate is. We did all this in minutes. Thanks for tuning in, guys, right here in KK's Big Kitchen.